Hey YouTubers, today we're going to be working on two separate but related projects. One of them is going to be this 1898 Krag rifle reproduction stock, wood stock, actually. I can't talk today. It's perfect, literally. Actually beautiful shape. I have an 1898 Krag that I'm going to be restoring. The only thing I don't like is the wood finish on it. It has a stain that I'm not really crazy about, so I'm going to remove the stain, and then I'm going to basically I'm going to strip it, I'm going to stain it, and then top coat it, similar to how I did to the Hakim rifle. This one has no grunge or grime in it. This is a brand new stock. It just has a kind of a dark wood stain that I'm not really crazy about. I like the graining and whatnot of the wood, and I want to actually bring that out with the stain that I use. The second project is going to be this Krag rifle handguard. Apparently it's quite common for these things to crack. The clips, you know, the wood will start to kind of flex, and then over time, I guess maybe if improperly removed, it'll actually crack. You can see the crack pretty well in there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm also going to be stripping this off. This has some kind of a top coat, like a varnish or a polyurethane. I'm going to fix the crack, and then I'm going to basically stain it and seal it and whatnot. So when I'm done, you won't see this crack at all. So it'll just be a matter of, I believe, probably bending the handguard clips a little bit because they look like they're extremely strong, and then actually fixing it, sealing this crack, and then basically getting ready to reinstall on the rifle. I'm not sure what type of handguard this is. I mean, I know it's for a Krag rifle, but I know they made several variants. They have the 1901 and then the 1898, and it all depends on the actual rear sights. I'm going to have to kind of compare it. I do have another Krag rifle coming in, but I want to compare it to what I have coming in to see how close this is. This may be a 1901, it may be an 1898. I'm not 100% sure. And again, how you can determine is the cutout for the rear sight. This looks like an original, but it actually may even be a reproduction. I don't really know. So we're going to get these both fixed up. What we're going to be using is Clean Strip, the Strip X stripper. This stuff is great for removing stain from wood and paint from wood, metal, and masonry. But for all intents and purposes, all we're going to be doing is using this to remove the stain from this rifle stock and the handguard. Probably should shake it up a little bit. Stuff's pretty noxious and caustic. If you get it on your fingers, it's going to burn. That I will guarantee you. What I do is I just kind of apply a nice thick layer of it, just like that. And I take my paintbrush, and I'm basically going to be painting it on there. They say to paint it in one direction. I think that's to keep it from evaporating too easily. This stuff works pretty fast. What I do is I use a green Scotch-Brite pad to remove whatever impurities and finish that I'm trying to get off. With something like this, I'm actually want to put it fairly thick. If there's any prior repairs, like a Gorilla Glue or anything kind of crappy like that, the Strip X actually will remove it to a certain extent. I've had to sometimes hit stuff with a wire brush lightly to get the residue out of the cracks, but this stuff actually works really, really good. It's also very safe for older rifle stocks. This is actually not an old rifle stock, but this may be an old handguard. So it's safe for the wood, it's safe for everything, but it fairly aggressively removes the finish on it to where you can go in and you can start with a nice, fresh, clean slate when you're doing your actual restorations. This is water soluble, so after about maybe 15-20 minutes of soaking, I'm going to scrub it and then come back, maybe hit it with one more coat, scrub it some more, and then wash it off real good, let it dry, and then once it's dry, probably about 24 hours, then I'm going to start working on the actual basically very extremely light sanding, maybe even just hitting it with some wire wool to kind of knock down the whiskers that are brought up by the refinishing process, and then stain it and seal it. So stay tuned. Okay, so here we actually have three rifle stocks I'm working on. The middle one is an M95 long rifle stock of a rifle I'm refinishing for a client of mine. I just added a Japanese Type 38 Nagoya stock. I bought this stock as is. There was no rifle with it. It's pretty bad shape, actually. The horrible finish applied to it looks like it wasn't sporterized, but I don't know if there was a crack or there was something going on with it. where I have to do some repairs to it. You can probably see on this one, I'm going to zoom in, where the stripper has gotten into the finish and kind of bubbled it up, and that's kind of what you're looking for. Another 5-10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to actually scrub it down and rinse it all off. Ideally, you do not want the stripper to dry on the finish because it becomes inert. So you want to keep it wet. Just hit it a couple of times with your paintbrush. Go from there. Like I said, the stuff is caustic. Do it outside. Do it on a piece of aluminum foil. If you have painted garage floors and you're clumsy like I am, then that whole area is going to have to be refinished. This is on concrete, not that big of a deal. It washes right off. Trying to get it on your hands, because this stuff will burn. So yeah, all the precautions that they basically tell you with stripper, you definitely want to follow with the Strip-X stuff. If you have a girlfriend or significant other or a wife and you want to have fun with her, she asks you what you're doing, tell her you're hanging out with a stripper, and then take a picture of the can. She probably won't appreciate it, but a few women with senses of humor will. You know, ha ha ha. You can see where a lot of just kind of the old finish and the crud is starting to come off on this. So again, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the finish to basically just melt off. And then when you're done, you're going to scrub this real good with Scotch-Brite pad. They sell different ones at Lowe's. They have like kind of a rough one, which works okay. They have kind of a between finishing one, which I like because it's not quite as abrasive. And you're going to basically scrub off the finish, rinse the hell out of it, and then you're going to let it sit for probably about 24 hours, let it dry thoroughly, and then you're going to start working on your actual refinishing of the stock, meaning, you know, any type of sanding, light, you know, repair work, anything like that. So when we come back, we'll get this thing all rinsed off real good and scrubbed, and you'll see the final product.